Did you know there's a Kamala Harris-inspired ice cream? That's right. Ben & Jerry literally invented a new ice cream called Kamala's Coconut Jubilee, a creamy coconut ice cream with caramel swirls and star-shaped sprinkles. But here's a fact that'll really blow your mind. In the 1700s, ice cream was considered a luxury. Fast forward to today, and over 90% of Americans have a tub ready to go in their freezer. In this video, we'll explore the history and obsession with ice cream. We'll also show you the complete process of how factories churn out millions of gallons of ice cream per day. So let's get into it. Ice cream's story starts thousands of years ago, back in 550 BC, when the Persians mixed snow with sweetened rose water to create a refreshing treat. Meanwhile, in China, chefs were getting creative with a frozen combo of milk and rice. Fast forward to the Middle Age, and Italians were whipping up icy desserts like sorbetto after hearing tales from Marco Polo's travels. Then, Catherine de' Medici brought these frosty ideas to France when she married King Henry II. Suddenly, frozen treats became the talk of European high class. Across the ocean, Thomas Jefferson, the third U.S. president, loved ice cream so much he wrote down his own recipe. But it wasn't all DIY forever. Ice cream lovers, take this moment to appreciate Nancy Johnson, the woman who invented the hand-cranked ice cream freezer in 1843. This invention meant that we didn't have to wait for winter snow to make dessert. Thanks to the Industrial Revolution, ice cream wasn't just for the rich anymore. Refrigeration technology made it possible to produce and sell ice cream everywhere. By the 1900s, it was America's favorite dessert. Today, ice cream is everywhere. From Italian gelato to Japanese mochi, every culture has its own spin. And with flavors like chocolate, cookie dough, and even weird ones like garlic, yes, that's real, there's something for everyone. So, what goes on behind the scenes? The only way to find out is to visit an ice cream factory. So join us as we explore one of the biggest ice cream factories in the United States. The first step is ingredient preparation. Milk, cream, sugar, stabilizers, and all those delicious flavorings roll in, ready for action. The inspectors check everything: freshness, packaging, and whether the ingredients meet super high safety standards. Then comes mixing and pasteurization. Once the ingredients pass the inspection, each ingredient is carefully measured and combined following a special recipe. Big industrial mixers, some of which can blend up to 12,200 liters per hour, are brought in to stir everything together. Now the base gets heated up to 160 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes. This step, called pasteurization, does two important things. It kills any harmful bacteria and activates the stabilizers to give the ice cream that creamy, perfect texture we all love. The next process is called homogenization. It's just a fancy word for making the ice cream super smooth. Machines work to break up fat globules in the mix, making sure everything stays perfectly smooth. Now comes the fun part: flavoring. Big tanks with gentle stirring ensure that your favorite flavors are spread evenly, making sure every bite has that perfect taste. Next, the mixture is sent to the freezer where tiny ice crystals form to give the ice cream its smooth texture. After the ice cream is frozen, it's time to mold it into its final shape. Whether it's popsicles, cones, or tubs, the ice cream is pumped into containers or molded into fun shapes. The machines are super efficient. One of them can fill up to 3,800 boxes of ice cream per hour. The ice cream then gets a little extra chill in a spiral freezer set to 39 degrees Fahrenheit. And after more cooling, it reaches core temperature of -10 degrees Fahrenheit. This ensures it's firm, but still creamy. Packaging is done automatically to keep things precise. Filling and sealing machines make sure every container has the perfect amount of ice cream. Then it's all boxed up, labeled with product info, and sent to storage. Before it's shipped out, the ice cream gets one last quality check and is stored at a chilly -20 degrees Celsius. Refrigerated trucks deliver the ice cream to local stores, keeping it fresh all the way to your favorite freezer aisle. Now let's be honest, ice cream isn't complete without a cone. Whether you're grabbing a quick scoop or creating a masterpiece, the cone is just as important as the ice cream itself. Each type cone brings something different: the taste, flavor, texture, and even a few unique ingredients. The cone you choose can change your entire ice cream experience. Did you know that there are 3 main types of cones? There are waffle cones, sugar cones, and cake cones. Each one has its own distinct characteristics and is great for different ice cream treats. Let's explore how each of them are made. The first ice cream cones were made from rolled waffle, and today's cones are simply updated versions of that classic waffle. To make them, the batter starts with a generous amount of dark brown sugar, and then caramel coloring is added along with some secret flavor ingredients. Ice Ice-cold water is pumped into the blender to keep the batter from getting too sticky. The addition of flour is controlled by a computer, and vegetable oil is mixed in as the batter is stirred by a giant beater. The cones then fall down a chute and ride an elevator up and down, cooling, hardening as they go. After that, the waffle cones slide down another chute and are moved onto lanes on a conveyor. Automated arms help guide the cones into their paper sleeves. A camera-controlled computer counts the cones and sends instructions to a machine to stack them in the proper order. Here, a technician uses a device to press a ball inside a cone to test how strong it is. If a waffle cone passes, it means that it's able to withstand some serious licking. Meanwhile, in the sugar cone department, things are slightly different. The baking plate system is designed to create patty-shaped cones with flat edges. These cones use a firmer batter and are stronger than waffle cones, making them a preferred choice for holding heavier, harder ice cream. Once baked, the cones are stacked in styrofoam trays, then wrapped up in a curtain of high-density polyethylene film. A heated sealer does the wrapping, and an X-ray machine scans the cones, sending details to a computer that counts them and alerts workers to any issue. Automated arms then grab cartons and open them up to insert packs of cones. There's one more cone variety in the works, the cake cone. These cones have a lighter, less sugary taste and a more cake-like texture. The batter is pumped into upright molds, but unlike waffle and sugar cones, cake cones have flat bottoms instead of pointed. Metal cores are pressed into the molds to create the shape and improve the texture. As the cones pass through a row of gas heaters, they bake and then travel down a chute to the packaging station. Unlike other cones, cake cones don't need to cool down. They come out crispy and flaky. A mechanical arm picks up paper sleeves and places them in front of the cones. These cones are now ready to be filled with ice cream and served to you. What in craving for something salty after watching all this ice cream? How about some saltine? Soda crack, often called saltine, started as a brand name but became a general term over time. These crackers are super versatile. You can snack on them plain, spread something tasty on top, or crumble them into soup. They're also a go-to for upset stomachs because they're dry, light, and easy to digest. They're flat and bumpy, with a satisfying crunch created through a fascinating baking process. Here's how they're made. To start, workers add ice to the dough to keep it cool during fermentation. A small amount of pre-made dough is used to jumpstart the process. Then they mix in water, wheat flour, yeast, and special enzyme. A machine blends everything for about 5 minutes, and then the dough rests for 16 hours. During this time, enzymes break down starch and wheat into simple sugars, and yeast feeds on those sugars, releasing gas that makes the dough rise. Next, the dough's acidity is adjusted with baking soda, which balances the flavor, color, and shelf life. For extra taste, they add salt, malted barley flour, and vegetable oil. The dough gets another 5-minute mix, and then ferment for 6 more hours. This second fermentation softens the gluten, making the dough easier to handle and stretch. The dough is then rolled into a 2-inch thick sheet, folded 3 times to create flaky layers, and flattened to about 1 millimeter thick. A machine cuts out cracker shapes and adds those little holes, which help the dough release steam while baking. Salt sprinkles over the dough sheet before it enters a long oven. Inside, gas flames bake the crackers, causing carbon dioxide to escape and creating air pockets that give the crackers their blisters and crisp texture. Once baked, the crackers are divided into rows. These rows move on to conveyor belts, stack up neatly, and are broken into individual crackers. They're then guided into machines that package them, like those small 2-cracker packs you often see with soup. Each pack is sealed and cut at an amazing speed, 525 packages per minute, and just like that, the crackers are ready for snack. That's how soda crackers get their signature crunch.